آتی ہے ماں، کیوں چھوڑ جاتی ہے ماں؟ قصہ مجھے ایک ماں کا بھیا حسن نے سنایا، بیٹا وہیں سامنے تھا جب ماں نے کھایا تماچا، اپنے گھر میں بیٹوں سے اپنا چہرہ چھپاتی ہے ماں، کیوں چھوڑ جاتی ہے ماں؟ کیوں چھوڑ جاتی ہے ماں؟ کیوں چھوڑ جاتی ہے ماں؟ شبیر نے پھر صدا دی، کیا چھوڑ جاؤ گے تم بھی؟ کیوں ایسا کہتی ہو اماں، رہتی نہیں ماں کسی کی؟ اب یہ بتاؤ کیا دور جا کر پھر تم آؤ گی ماں؟ کیوں چھوڑ جاتی ہے ماں؟ کیوں چھوڑ جاتی ہے ماں؟ کیوں چھوڑ جاتی ہے ماں؟ ایک روز ایسا بھی آیا تھا فاطمہ کا جنازہ، رخ سے کفن جب ہٹایا، شبیر نے ماں سے پوچھا، شبیر نے ماں سے پوچھا، کیا پیار ہے کہ زیر کفن بھی آنسو بہاتی ہے ماں؟ کیوں چھوڑ جاتی ہے ماں؟ کیوں چھوڑ جاتی ہے ماں؟ کیوں چھوڑ جاتی ہے ماں؟ پروردگار واسطے محمد وال محمد کے جن کی مائیں زندہ ہیں، پروردگار ان کو عمر خضر عطا فرمائے، اور جو مائیں چلی گئی ہیں پروردگار واسطے محمد والے چاہتا معصومین کو ان کو اپنے جوہر رحمت میں داخل کرے۔ پروردگار کوئی غم نہ دے ہمیں غم سوائے غم سے۔ شکریہ بہت بہت۔
اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرج۔ ملتمس جناب عباس علی نقوی اور جعفر علی نقوی سے کہ وہ مرثیہ خوانی کے لیے تشریف لائیں۔ اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد۔
نعرہ صلوات۔ اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد۔ اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد۔ نکلیے
ایک عطا سماعت فرمائیں۔ ہر راز کبریا کا ہے، ہر راز فاطمہ، ہر راز کبریا کا ہے ہر راہ انداز ہے رسول کا انداز فاطمہ انداز ہے رسول کا انداز فاطمہ اور جب تک رہے گی دہر میں تسبیح کی صدا او آتے رہے گی کانوں میں آواز فاطمہ اور جب تک رہے گی دہر میں تسبیح کی صدا آتے رہے گی کانوں میں آواز فاطمہ ہر راز کبریا کا ہے
اللہم صلی اللہ محمد وعلی محمد.
چار مصرے والے
مولانا یہ ٹائم دے ابھی راستے میں
چار مصرے مہدی بھائی. ساری دنیا کی فضیلت بھی تیرے قدموں میں ہے. ساری دنیا کی فضیلت بھی تیرے قدموں میں ہے. اور ہم عزاداروں کی قسمت بھی تیرے قدموں میں ہے. ارے ہم عزاداروں کی قسمت بھی تیرے قدموں. تیسرا چوتھا مصرع پیش ہے. اور عظمتوں کی شاہزادی تیری عظمت کو سلام. عظمتوں کی شاہزادی تیری عظمت کو سلام. ارے مالک جنت کی جنت بھی تیرے قدموں میں ہے. ساری دنیا کی فضیلت. شکریہ.
سلام کے چند اشعار. یہ خورشید انور ارم سرسوی صاحب کا یہ کلام ہے. درود پڑھ دیں محمد و آل محمد.
اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد.
آپ کے کردار میں اے نور پہ کر فاطمہ، آپ کے کردار میں اے نور پہ کر فاطمہ. ارے آپ کے کردار میں اے نور پہ کر فاطمہ. ارے ذوفگن ہے حسن کردار پیامبر فاطمہ. آپ کے کردار میں اے نور ایک اور مطلب پیش ہے، مطلب پیش ہے. ارے یوں دکھا آپ نے شان پیمبر
فاطمہ،
یوں دکھا آپ نے شان پیمبر فاطمہ. ارے اشک غم کو کر دیا دم بھر میں گوہر فاطمہ. آپ کے کردار میں اے نور. اور شعر پیش ہے ڈاکٹر صاحب، شعر پیش ہوئے. ارے کہہ گئے قرآن کے لہجے میں پیمبر کہہ گئے قرآن کے لہجے میں پیمبر کہہ گئے. ارے چادر تطہیر کا تم ہو مقدر فاطمہ. آپ کے کردار میں
اے نور پہ کر فاطمہ.
ارے آپ کے بیٹے ہیں سردار رے جوانان بہے. آپ کے بیٹے ہیں سردار رے جوانان
بہے.
اور شوہر مالک تسنیم و کوثر فاطمہ. آپ کے کردار میں اے نور
پہ کر
اور شعر پیش ہے. ارے شبرو شبیر جس میں صاف آتے ہیں نظر. شبرو شبیر جس میں صاف آتے ہیں نظر. ارے ہیں اسی آئینہ عصمت کا جوہر فاطمہ. آپ کے کردار میں اے
نور پہ کر فاطمہ
ارے اشک غم چمکا دیے میرے ستاروں کی طرح. شیر پیش ہے حضور. اشک غم چمکا دیے میرے ستاروں کی
طرح
ارے جگمگائے کیوں نہ اب میرا مقدر فاطمہ. آپ کے کردار میں اے نور
پہ کر فاطمہ.
آخری دو شعر. ارے امتحان کی منزلوں میں تھے تیرے گلشن کے پھول. مشرا پیش ہے. امتحان کی منزلوں میں تھے تیرے گلشن
کے پھول.
ارے ورنہ کیا آتی خزاں تیرے چمن میں فاطمہ. آپ کے کردار میں اے نور
پہ کر فاطمہ.
ارے موت کی وادی میں ہر لمحہ خزاں کے سامنے موت کی وادی میں ہر لمحہ خزاں کی
سامنے
ارے مسکراتے ہی رہے تیرے گلے تر فاطمہ. آپ کے کردار میں اور مقطع پیش ہے.
اے نور پہ کر فاطمہ.
ارے خود ارم کا جگمگاتا ہے شبستان خود ارم کا جگمگاتا ہے شبستان اور آپ ہی کے نور کے صدقے میں اکثر فاطمہ. آپ کے کردار میں شکریہ. سورہ فاتحہ.
اللہم صلی علی محمد و صلی پیش پہ آل محمد. فضل ویز مولانا کوئی بھی پڑھتا ہو زمین ہے نشان ہے بابا کو کہتے ہیں
اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد. جب خلق سے وقت سفر فاطمہ آیا تب زینب و شبیر کو پاس اپنے بلایا روئیں بہت اور بیٹے کو چھاتی سے لگایا زینب کے دیا ہاتھ میں ہاتھ اور یہ سنایا زینب کے دیا ہاتھ میں ہاتھ اور یہ سنایا اور اے زینب بے کس میری دولت سے خبردار محبوب الہی کی امانت سے خبردار محبوب الہی کی امانت سے خبردار ارے بیٹی اسے زہرا نے بڑے دکھ سے ہے پالا یہ روح میرے جسم کی ہے گیسوں والا ارے سمجھی اسے آنکھوں کی ضیا گھر کا اجالا حجرے سے کبھی گرم ہوا میں نہ نکالا حجرے سے کبھی گرم ہوا میں نہ نکالا اور سوئی ہوں تو پہلے اسے چھاتی سے سلا کر ارے چکی بھی جو پیسی ہے تو گودی میں لٹا کر چکی بھی جو پیسی ہے تو گودی میں لٹا کر ارے اے لاڈلی اس لال کا دشمن ہے زمانہ شبیر کو میرے نظر بد سے بچانا ارے تکلیف بھی سہ لیجیو ایزا بھی اٹھانا صدقے گئی مادر کی وصیت نہ بھلانا صدقے گئی مادر کی وصیت نہ بھلانا اور ہر رنج میں اس بھائی کے کام آئیو زینب ارے جائے یہ جدھر سا چلی جائیو زینب جائے یہ جدھر سا چلی جائیو زینب ارے زہرا نے کہا بس یہی میری ہے تمنا لے بیٹی میں خوش تجھ سے چلے دودھ بھی بخشا پھر رو کے یہ ہے در سے مخاطب ہوئی زہرا ارے اب آپ سے ہے یہ سخن آخری میرا اب آپ سے ہے یہ سخن آخری میرا ارے میں قبر میں پھاڑوں گی گرے بانوں کا فن کو ارے ایزا نہ ہو کچھ میرے حسین اور حسن کو ایزا نہ ہو کچھ میرے حسین اور حسن کو ارے مشہور ہے سب خلق میں یا شیر الہی، بچوں کی ہے بن ماں کے خرابی و تباہی، سو فاطمہ تو ہوتی ہے اب خلد کو راہی، تنہائی میرے بچوں کی تقدیر نے چاہی، تنہائی میرے بچوں کی تقدیر نے چاہی، ارے لپٹائی او 100 بار گلے شام و سحر میں، ارے میں قبر میں تڑپوں گی جو یہ روئیں گے گھر میں، میں قبر میں تڑپوں گی جو یہ روئیں گے گھر میں، ارے پھر روئیں گا مل کے بہت بیٹوں سے زہرا، فرمایا تمہیں دلہا بنے آہا نہ دیکھا، ارے فضا سے کہا قبر نبی پر انہیں لے جا، روئی نہ میرے سامنے یہ تو انہیں بہلا، روئے نہ میرے سامنے یہ تو انہیں بہلا، اور اے فضا کوئی رنج انہیں ہونے نہ دینا، ارے پیاروں کو میرے مردے پا بھی رونے نہ دینا، یہ کہہ کے کیا بند درے حجرائے عطر، سب خرد و کلاں رونے لگے آن کے باہر، ارے آواز سنی کلمہ طیب کی مقرر، ارے پھر کچھ نہ صدا آئی کہا سب نے یہ رو کر، پھر کچھ نہ صدا آئی کہا سب نے یہ رو کر، اور لول اٹھ گئی دنیا سے نشانی بھی نبی کی، ارے رحلت ہوئی بس آج رسول عربی کی، رحلت ہوئی بس آج رسول عربی کی، القصہ کے دن ماتم زہرا ہی میں گزرا، شب آئی کھلے گیسوؤں سے دینے کو پرسا، ارے حیدر نے کیا غسل کا سامان مہیا، معصومہ کے ایک ہاتھ پا درہ جو لگا تھا، معصومہ کے ایک ہاتھ پا درہ جو لگا تھا، ارے وہ دست بطولہ خمیدہ نظر آیا، ارے یہ دیکھتے ہی منہ کو علی کا جگر آیا، یہ دیکھتے ہی منہ کو علی کا جگر آیا، نہلا کے جو کفنانے لگے میت زہرا، زینب نے یہ کی عرض حضور شہ والا، اماں کا میرا ہاتھ تو سیدھا کرو بابا، وہ رو کے پکارے یہ خمیدہ ہی رہے گا، وہ رو کے پکارے یہ خمیدہ ہی رہے گا، اور تابوت میں پھر میت زہرا کو لٹا کے سب سے کہا لو بیٹوں کو رخصت کرو آ کے، سب سے کہا لو بیٹوں کو رخصت کرو آ کے، سب لونڈیاں تابوت پا ہونے لگی قربان، مردے کی بلائیں لی ہر ایک بی بی نے اس ارے زینب نے کہا بی بی وطن کر چلی ویران، بابا کے لیے جان دی پورے ہوئے ارمان، بابا کے لیے جان دی پورے ہوئے ارمان، اور بے حشر کے اب منہ کو نہ دکھلاؤ گی بی بی، ارے اب کاہے کو اس گھر میں کبھی آؤ گی بی بی، اب کاہے کو اس گھر میں کبھی آؤ گی بی بی، ارے تابوت پا زینب کا یہ تھا نالے جان کا، رخصت کو حسین اور حسن آئے جو ناگا، ارے تابوت میں زہرا کے ہوئے تب حرکتیں اور بندے کفن فاطمہ کے کھل گئے واللہ، اور بندے کفن فاطمہ کے کھل گئے واللہ، اور سر خم کیے تابوت پا فرزند کھڑے تھے، اور گردنوں میں فاطمہ کے ہاتھ پڑے تھے، جب خلق سے وقت سفر مولانا ہے یہ شکریہ
اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد۔ مومنین کرام، سینٹر کے پروگرامز کے سلسلے میں یہ چند اعلانات۔ انشاءاللہ 21 دسمبر بروز ہفتہ، چونکہ we have a lot of youngsters here, if I'm permitted to announce it in the English, so it will be more beneficial for everybody, I guess. So here are certain programs for our center, inshallah. There will be annual Dastarkhan Imam Hassan Mujtaba alayhi salatu wassalam. Inshallah, on the 21st of December, this Saturday, which is the 20th of Jamaat-e-Thani. All members of Shah-E-Najaf centers are requested to participate. If you want to participate in the Dastarkhan, please please inform Brother Abu Talib so he can arrange accordingly. This program is an annual program which our community members participate in this Dastarkhan. So all are requested to please participate and contact Brother Abu Talib regarding this program. Secondly, and same evening, we'll have also Jashan in the Shahzadi Qonan's Biladat, Ayyam-e-Fatimyah Zahra alayhi salatu wassalam. On the same night, we have the program of Dastarkhan. After Dastarkhan, we will have the Milad. As you all know, we have a Friday lunch. So the brothers and families, those who want to participate in that Friday lunch, please contact Brother Abu Talib for that. And now I will request our most honorable guest from Dallas, Texas, Sayyid Jawad Wahidi, to please come and recite the Majalis. Jazakumullah khairukum. Allahumma salli ala.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بعدد ما أحاط به علمه، وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد صلوات الله وسلامه عليه، وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين، سيما بقية الله في العالمين. روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداه. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. قال الله في محكم كتابه: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنما المؤمنون الذين إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم وإذا تليت عليهم آياته زادتهم إيمانا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون. آمنا بالله. صدق الله العلي العظيم. So inshallah, tonight would be our last night to discuss about the topic that we started 2 nights ago, and that is the mahabba and love toward and of Allah Azza wa Jal. And tomorrow night we'll discuss about what is it and why awliyaullah, the prophets, Ahlul Bayt, and in general, friends of Allah usually are abandoned by their nation. And this is an important question to ask, and it's a lesson for us all to learn from history. And what is it that usually the awliyaullah and friends of Allah Azza wa Jal are abandoned by people? And these great awliyaullah, friends of Allah, prophets and Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, usually have less companions than perhaps other groups and other parties. And last night, inshallah, Sunday night, in our last night, we'll discuss about the quality of those who are usually the supporters of the Imam, which are Shias and followers of those Imams and the Prophets. And inshallah, we pray to Allah Azza wa Jal to bless us with understanding, inshallah, bless us with guidance. So these words that are coming, number one, could be and should be truthful and haqq, and secondly, inshallah, impactful to us all. Inshallah, recite aloud salawat, please. One aspect that when we look at people that they have this intense love toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one quality that these people they attain is that they love, or I should say they develop their love toward the words of Allah Azza wa Jal. When it comes to revelation, they slowly develop the love toward the revelation. And this is evident when you look at history. People that they were around these prophets and these messengers, right? And these anbiya. They usually are around the anbiya not because they like the way that Nabi looked and his appearance and how handsome that individual and the prophet is. The main reason that they're around the prophet and the messenger is because they can hear the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this quality was evident amongst the companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I share you a few examples. Recite the loud salawat, please. And this is their approach, these great companions, toward the Quran, the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we'll see how much we're not like them, how much we're far away from the way these great companions perceived the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and last revelation, which is the noble Quran. Number one, did you know that during the time of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, these companions, they had a certain type of majalises, like you and I are sitting here. We have majalises in Muharram, in Fatimyah, and other types of events and Islamic events that we gather together, and someone just recites the masa'ib of Zahra salamu alayha, of Amirul Mu'mineen, of Sayyidul Shahadat alayhi salatu wasalam, and others what? They cry and they weep and they mourn for the grief of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Such a beautiful gathering. During the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they had another type also. What is it? They used to sit down in Masjidun Nabi. People, they would recite the Quran. Other companions would weep and shed tears as they're listening to the verses of the Quran. That's the connection. That's the connection. How we approach the Quran. We think that as soon as we start Surah Waqi'ah, as soon as we start Surah Yasin, we have to finish it. For the most part, different countries, all of us were sharing the same guilt here, the same shortcoming. I haven't seen any country, any culture who is innocent when it comes to Quran. What do we do? If we're really good, someone recites beautifully, and the others, they're just listening without even understanding it. And then I obviously look at my watch. Oh my God, it's 10 minutes. I wish this thing ends soon. Of course, that's going to be my approach. This is actually exactly what I said today in one of our discussion with a brother. That this is a problem that we have and we face, and this is a challenge that we have. When it comes to Quran, we really don't reflect. And please don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that don't recite Quran with the purpose of finishing a juz. Do that, alhamdulillah, do that. I'm not saying don't recite the Quran when you have the intention to finish Surah Yasin. Do that. There's a benefit in finishing a surah. Definitely, there are benefits. But that's not the only approach. That's not the primary approach that we should have. The main reason and purpose of us reciting the verses of the Quran is to reflect on the ayats and the verses of the Quran. That's the main reason, that's the main purpose. So the problem is that when I start taking Quran lightly, I neglect to reflect on the verses of the Quran. And this problem, we are, as speakers, as scholars, we're more guilty for this. It has to start from us, from speakers that they sit down on minbar. We have to start that. And this is a problem that the ummah is dealing with. And in specific, when it comes to Shia, this becomes even more serious. Why is it that it is more serious and we're supposed to be the one who is at the forefront of propagating the Quran? Because of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. During the time of the Imams, if they had question regarding the verses of the Quran, they would go to the Ahlul Bayt. If they had question regarding the verses of the Quran, they would go to the Ahlul Bayt. Ahlul Bayt were the one who had the most beautiful recitation. They were the one who were propagating the Quran, doing tabligh on the Quran. What is it that we as followers were not doing that? So that's number one. That's that beautiful connection that the noble companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had. So much so that when they would listen to the verses of the Quran, they would weep and shed tears for those verses of the Quran. Another beautiful approach that these noble companions had is that, you see, one of the beauty of the Quran is that the Quran was revealed throughout the 23 years of revelation. As a result, you'll see that Quran is so applicable to our lives, is the book of life, because it's based on the events of life. Based on the events of life. There are historical contexts. A munafiq, hypocrite did something, verses of the Quran came. So why your approach is this? Fix it. Believers, they were faced with challenges that you and I face today in Syria, in Lebanon, in Palestine. You see, amongst Muslims, there are people that they are supporting the taghut, the oppressor, while they have the appearance of Muslims. They were facing the same challenges. It's just the appearance or types of challenges are changed, but the major traits of these challenges are the same. They were betrayed, verses of the Quran came. Something happened in a companion's, personal life, verses of the Quran came. So as a result, you will see that this Quran, this book, one of the reasons, this Quran is so applicable. So these companions would listen to the verses of the Quran, and they would go, some people they would write, some people they would memorize, right? That's why they call them Hafidhan al-Quran, Katiban al-Wahi, Hafidhan al-Wahi. And Amir al-Mu'mineen was both of them. Amir al-Mu'mineen was considered to be Hafidh al-Quran and Katib al-Wahi. Hafidh al-Wahi and Katib al-Wahi. Because he knew how to write. And he also memorized the verses of the Quran. And the beauty lies here, that these selected verses of the Quran would revealed mostly based on historical context, so everybody could understand what Allah Azza wa Jal is telling here. And then the Prophet, they had the Prophet there, the Prophet would do tabyin, would clarify questions and so on, and then they would wait for the next revelation. This is something we again can take lesson. We read the Quran like that. And subhanAllah, this is a recommendation through our traditions that the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam taught us to read the Quran as if the Quran is revealing to you. It's for you, it's for me. It's not an abstract book that was revealed in a vacuum, and all of a sudden I have this Arabic text that I have no clue that what is this? All I know is from Sunday school or Saturday school, whatever you have. That's all I know. While this Quran is a book of life, it's a book that never ends its lesson. While this Quran is a book that you read it, you take lesson, you understand, it enlightens your heart, and Arif reads it, it enlightens his heart. Someone lower than you read it, gets lesson. Someone higher than you read it, gets lesson, and receives its light. That's the Quran that we're talking about. So that's the second approach. And listen to this surah. And this is, again, we're talking about the hope and love of Allah Azza wa Jal, right? And one of the sign of those people that they love Allah is that they love the words and revelation of Allah. Because that's the ultimate and absolute manifestation of Allah, right? That's the ultimate manifestation of Allah. These are the words of Allah. Words of Allah. So here's the second ayah in Surah Anfal. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إنما المؤمنون الذين إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم. Indeed, believers are only, see, only إنما المؤمنون. Indeed, the believers are only those who, number one, إِذَا ذُكِرَ اللَّهُ وَجِلَتْ قُلُوبُهُم. When they remember Allah, their hearts quake, meaning are shaken. Their hearts are humbled when they remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's number one quality. That when they remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wajilat qulubuhum. Their hearts are enlightened, are shaken as a result of the remembrance. As a result of remembrance. You and I sometimes, I'm talking about myself, I barely experience such to lowest level of it, maybe one night of Qadr in my lifetime. That my heart now is broken. Now I can feel the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we're going to talk about a little bit about that, how we can increase that. But here's the Quran is saying believers are only those who, number one, when they remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, their hearts are shaken. You can read it later. Number 2, Surah Al-Amwal. Ayah number 2, Surah Al-Anfal. When his ayats are recited to them, it increases them in faith. Zahdathum imana. When they recite the verses of the Quran, these verses of the Quran increases them in faith. How this can happen? How can I read the Quran that it can increase my iman? The way that usually we approach the Quran, is it going to increase my iman? I don't think so. Not to a point that I'm supposed to get from the Quran. A little bit of reward, definitely. Arabic, reading it without understanding, there's benefit. We had a marja, a great marja. I'm not going to mention his name. One time in a session, he said, like decades ago, maybe 20 years ago, he said there's no benefit in reading the Quran while you don't understand. He said that. And then after a decade or so, he came again, righteous scholars like that. He said, look, I said this decades ago, maybe a decade ago, a little bit more, that if you don't understand the Quran and read the Quran, you don't get any benefit. I was wrong. I was wrong. You still can get benefit. You will get benefit. Looking at the verses of the Quran is shifa, is healing. Looking, not only like reading it, looking at it. These are the words of Allah. What is it? Why is it? What is the reason? I don't know. I don't know many things, including this. There is shifa in the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But he concluded, he said, you're not going to get the benefit that Quran is supposed to give you. You're not going to get it. So وَجَلَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ وَإِذَا تُلِيَتْ عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُهُ زَادَتْهُمْ إِيمَانًا. When they recite the verses of the Quran, their faith is increased. Now, I'm going to read you a few du'as tonight to understand how the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam is perceiving hope and love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. From Imam al-Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam in a dua, when he supplicates before his Lord, he says, أنت الذي أزلت الأغيار عن قلوب أحبائك حتى لم يحبوا سواك. سبحان الله. ماذا وجد من فقدك وما الذي فقد من وجدك لقد خاب من يرضى من رضي دونك بدلا. You're the one to Allah. You're the one who removed all others. Pay attention please to this. It's so profound from Sayyid al-Shuhada. You're the one to Allah who removed all others from the hearts of your beloved ones. You're the one. Remember we talked about this. That this heart should be empty from all others. All others. And the love of Allah should enter. This is the benchmark. Am I there? No. But this is the benchmark. This is the goal. Don't change the goal. Don't let your nafs, because our nafs is lazy, gives us the easy route. Take that easy route. You don't need to be that serious. But this is what Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam is teaching us. You're the one who removed all others from the heart of your beloved ones. Why is it? Why? Why Allah is removing all others from the heart of the beloved ones? So they love none besides you. They don't love anybody. They love only Allah Azza wa Jalla. What has one, pay attention, what has one found who has lost you? If someone has lost you, what did he find? What did he find? And what has one lost who has found you? If I find Allah Azza wa Jal, is there anything that I lost? Is there anything that I lost? Remember the tradition last night from the Amir al-Mu'mineen. He said to the Bedouins toward the end of the tradition, Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, in the story of famine hits, a drought hits Mecca. He said to the people that the prosperity and everything and happiness and contentment lies in the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You want happiness in good life? Allah. That's the solution. There's no way that I can achieve happiness without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's a claim of religion. That's a claim of Islam. You want contentment? Allah. Yeah, entertainment, there's a lot. Entertainment is there, Netflix, other movies, which some of them are good, I'm not denying everything. But entertainment, you can have fun with all sorts of things. But does that bring you contentment, sense of fulfillment? No. Money brings entertainment, but doesn't bring contentment, fulfillment. It's a huge difference. I can be entertained while I always have this sense of something lacking in my life. And that's not going to go away without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Truly, the one who accepts anyone other than you as a replacement is in loss and failure. If I accept. Now, in word it's easy to say this, right? But in our day-to-day life, we do this often. We replace Allah with others. أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ Quran. That are you taking your hawa, your desires as your Lord, as God? That's what Quran is telling us. أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ. Are you taking that? We'll talk about that inshallah in the next night. That the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, the Waliullah, Awliyaullah, the Prophet, they want Shi'as and followers that they don't see themselves. That's the first condition. I don't seek fame. All I do is for you. Ikhlas is that. That it's as if I kill myself first and then go to Allah Azza wa Jal. I kill my ego over and over again. That my desire is telling me that do this because of the praise, but as a believer I say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. The praise belongs only to Allah Azza wa Jal, not me. Who is worthy of praise? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why I'm looking for praise? You see, here's the practice, and very practical. We should start from scratch. And this is what, again, I remember one time, Ayatollah Misbah Yazdi, may Allah bless him, I think I mentioned a story in our first session. An amazing scholar. One time he was talking about how we can achieve to a point that we're worthy of being considered by Sayyidul Shahadat. What we can do. He said, start from small. You wake up, you say, oh Imam, Ya Allah, this is your day. I'm yours. I'm a slave of yours, Ya Allah. Forgive your wife, your husband, your spouse. Even if your spouse has done wrong to you, say, Ya Zainab, I'm forgiving my spouse because of you. Help your brother, say, Ya Mahdi, I'm doing this because of you. Dedicate your deeds for him. Ya Allah, there's a brother who has done wrong to me, talked behind me, my back. Ya Allah, I'm forgiving this brother. Truly, Ya Allah, it's not easy this. Truly I forgive. Truly. I don't have any beef with that guy. There's no beef between me and him. I'm truly forgiving him because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This slowly will increase us in Iman. Automatically, through practice, small deeds, when it's with intention, it is, if you remember our first session, we said if everything is based on love toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, become meaningful. Small deed becomes great deed. Because the base of it is love. Solely to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm showing my affection toward my children. Ya Allah, I'm kissing my children. I love my children because of you. I bring gift, I'm bringing fruits, food. Ya Allah, I'm doing this because of you. I'm providing for my family because of you. And just don't expect anything in return from people. Anything, when you do that, you automatically say, Ya Allah, I'm doing it for you. So I don't expect from Jawad to thank me. If he thanked me, alhamdulillah, man lam yashkur al-makhluq, lam yashkur al-khaliq. If someone does not thank makhluq, somebody who is created, is not thanking the creator, right? It is my responsibility to thank you, show my gratitude. But if I haven't done, don't get upset. Why? Because you've done it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see, you do mu'amala. This is a trading that I'm doing with my Lord, with the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. So if I forgive my wife and start behaving and showing more attention, but my wife is not fixing, my wife is not, fixing the issues that she has, I'm not going to wait. Because I know at the end of the day, Allah will ask me questions. Allah is not going to take me in account because of my brother, because of my husband, because of my spouse, my children. No. Developing that starts from family. Someone asked Allama Tawtabai, rahmatullah alayh. He said, I want to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Where should I start? He said, start from your family. And this is for everybody, even if you're not married, it starts from us all. Whether we're married or not, children, no children, doesn't matter. Starts from your family, because this is where you have no mask on at home. You have no mask on at home. You're you. Truly, you're you. Outside, I can play out and play around and act and so on. But inside, I'm Jawad, I will show my true self when I'm at home. Allah Ta'ala beautifully, if you want to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, starts from home. And that slowly develop, right? The love toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through dedicating small deed. Recite aloud salawat, please. And I will leave you with two more traditions. Both of them are from our sixth Imam. The first is a dua, the second is a statement, it's a quote, it's a tradition. Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, in a supplication, he said, Sayyidi, O my master, ana min hubbika ja'i'un la ashba'. I'm hungry for you. I'm hungry for your love and will never be satisfied. أنا من حبك ظمآن لا أروى. I'm thirsty for your love and will never be satisfied and quenched. When I was reading this, I looked at myself. I said, yeah, this is from Imam Sadiq. It's a high level thing to say. I'm so hungry for your love that will never be satisfied. Never will be satisfied. In reality, for the most part, when I pray my salat, if it gets a little bit longer, I'm just going to start waiting when the salat is going to end. When I start reciting a dua, it's nice, at the beginning I'm reflecting, connecting, and then halfway through I'm like starting looking at the numbers on the presentation, PowerPoint. It's like says 57 out of 20, like 200, 57, over 150 slides are left. I'm gonna wait. If it's Jawshan al-Kabir, God help us. So that means I'm not thirsty. That means I'm not hungry. That means I'm already satisfied. It's just 20 slides past. I'm done with you, Ya Allah. Just finish it quickly. Yeah? Drink some chai. That means I'm not hungry for your love. I'm not thirsty for your love. So I was thinking about this, and should I even say this? Should I say this to Allah? Because obviously Imam Sadiq ﷺ, this is not a private thing between him and Allah. The private stuff, we don't know what he was talking about, right, to Allah. We don't know what's the level. When he's talking this and saying this, that means it's an open statement. So Shias and followers and lovers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, they can learn this is how you speak with Allah. Isn't it? That's the reason. That's what we're having. So it's Imam Sadiq in a way is telling us this is how you're supposed to speak with Allah, communicate with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see, sometimes it's okay to lie. It's okay to lie sometimes. This is where it's okay. I know that I'm already satisfied, Ya Allah. I'm like sitting 4 minutes talking to you, between me and you, intimate conversation, communication, supplication. It's not in Arabic, it might be in Urdu, Farsi, English, whatever language you have. It's just between me and you. We're talking, we're supplicating, we're whispering. I'm whispering before you and talking to you. And I'm already over this, like 4 minutes over this. Nothing else, I don't have anything to say. I'm just frozen here. And then you can say, Ya Allah, I don't get tired. I don't get tired of talking to you. The scholars, ulama al-akhlaq, they call this talqeen. So it is attributed to Ahlul Bayt, been said that if you're not halim, if you're not calm, if you're not patient, act like one. Act like one. Do talqeen, like act like one. Force yourself to be halim and patient. Force yourself to be calm. And that slowly develop, that trait, that's how I start to develop these traits. So the same, I say so much, repeating it so much. I'm not telling to people, by the way. I'm telling to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't go out and tell people, look, I'm in love with Allah so much that I don't do that. That's not good. But when it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm allowed to say things that perhaps it's not really factual. You may say that this doesn't make sense. Jawad, this doesn't make sense at all. Yeah, of course, there are things that doesn't make sense. I can give you another example. You say, Ya laytani kuntu ma'akum. Ya laytani kuntum fa'afuz fawzan azima. Do you know what we're asking here? Are we ready for this? We're asking. Am I the one saying, this dua is answered? What is this dua? You're asking that I wish I was amongst the companions of Sayyid al-Shuhada and I would reach the success and prosperity and sa'adat that they reached. Beautiful dua, right? But am I there? There's attributed when Imam was praying Salat, groups of people were standing in front of the Imam and other companions to shield the Imam and other companions so they can pray Salat. You heard about this, right? There's a companion here, he endured multiple arrows. Multiple arrows. Imagine this, the arrow is coming. He's in love with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's in love with Imam al-Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam so much that he forgets that he has a human nature of protecting himself. When something is coming toward you, you automatically have natural reaction, and that is that you bend. It's a human nature, right? Human natural reaction. Something is coming toward you as sharp and as fast and that as dreadful. detrimental as an arrow, but he's taking it all, subhanallah. And he's waiting. Multiple arrows. He's endured. Now he's waiting. As soon as the Imam said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, he is fallen. He falls on the ground. Listen to this. Imam, like all the other shuhada, he put his noble head on his noble lap. The first question this companion is asking is what? He's saying, Awafait, Ya ibn Rasulullah. Was I loyal? Ya ibn Rasulullah. Was I loyal to you? Last night's tradition, Amirul Mu'mineen, what he said? He said, the lowest level of muhibbeen and lovers of Allah, one quality is that when they do good, they see that good deed as small, as nothing. I'm not offering anything here. I just sacrificed my life for you, our faith. We're asking in these ziyarat that Ya laytani kuntu I wish I was that. I wish I was Abbas. I wish I was Aliyun al-Akbar. Is it right? Am I there? I'm not there. But Imam is asking you and I to say it over and over again. Yes, you're not there, but say it. It's okay. I'll give you reward. Say it. So it's okay sometimes to say things that it's not really factual when it comes to Allah Azza wa Jal, about ourselves, obviously. Wa shawqa ila man yarani wa la ara. Oh, how I yearn for the one who sees me while I cannot see him. The khushu' comes. That you're seeing me. Our communication, our interaction is not an abstract interaction, that there is no one out there on the other side. No, you're there. The only thing is that you see me. You can see me, Ya Allah. I'm talking to you. You can see me. But the thing is that I cannot see you. I wish I could see you. I wish I could see your light, and that's what Musa alayhi salam wanted to from Allah Azza wa Jalla. It's okay for us to ask. I wish I could see you. I could see your light. You know, that's how you develop that love in Allah. And I will end with this, brothers and sisters, from Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. This is a statement, and I think this is the best way to end this topic. And this topic, I believe I mentioned in our first session that I'm not the one who is worthy of speaking about this topic. That's number one. Number two, I don't have really knowledge to cover this topic. And number three sessions is not enough to cover this topic. It's only for us to start thinking and developing that love, and inshallah through that lens we can see the ayats and signs of Allah Azza wa Jal. Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam says, لا يمحض رجل الإيمان بالله حتى يكون الله أحب إليه من نفسه وأبيه وأمه وولده وأهله وماله ومن الناس كلهم. A person's faith benchmark. This is the benchmark. A person's faith in Allah does not become pure and complete until Allah is more beloved to him than themselves. Number one. That he loves Allah more than himself. Is it enough? No. Than their fathers, than their mothers, their children, their spouse, their wealth, and all people. That's the only way that a faith can be complete. We're commemorating the Shahadat and martyrdom of the noblest lady, Sayyidatuna Zahra salamullah alayha. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to grant us the love that our beloved Imam al-As alayhi salatu wasalam has towards Zahra. To grant us the sensitivity that they had, Ahlul Bayt, Imams of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, had toward Sayyidatuna Zahra, salamullah alayha. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Fatimata wa abiha wa ba'laha وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها بعدد ما أحاط به After the demise of Rasulullah, the Ummah abandoned Amirul Mu'mineen and Zahra. Zahra as the first defender of the sanctity of Ahlul Bayt, would go out and visit the women of Ansar and people of Medina, reminding them of Ghadir, reminding them of what Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi has said about Amirul Mu'mineen and his role as the successor of Rasulullah. The enemy didn't like it. Jealousy and envy started arising. They started planning to oppress the daughter of Rasulullah. One night, Zahra holding Imam al-Hassan's hand. This is how they told us the Masa'ib of Zahra. They said Zahra was holding the hand of her son Hassan, passing by and through the alley of Bani Hashim. And suddenly a cruel enemy blocked the way of Zahra salamullahi alayha. The enemy was so cruel and disrespectful that he raised her hand on Zahra and he hit Zahra and he injured Zahra's arm. Ya Zahra, perhaps your son Imam al-Hassan could not talk about this incident to anybody. But we all know that Amirul Mu'mineen found out when he was washing your body. When he reached your arm, he couldn't hold his tears and he started weeping. Ya Zahra, La yawmka yawmaka ya Aba Abdullah. Ya Zahra, there is no day like Hussein's day. They attacked the children of Hussein. The children of Hussein were forced to walk for hours on the bazaar of Kufa and Sham, while the head of their father, Sayyid al-Shuhada, their uncle Ali al-Akbar, Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, were in front of them. As soon as they would cry and remember Hussein, their father, the enemy, instead of calming them down, comforting them, the enemy would slash them. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. يا حسين